It's about time I shared with you my favorite white bean soup. It's hearty yet brothy and loaded with vegetables. It's excellent for meal prep, but also great for a cozy weeknight dinner. So let's get started. First, we'll start by prepping our veggies. So we've got an onion. Take off that outer layer. And then I like to make a slice horizontally. And then across in strips, keeping the root end intact so that I can simply dice it this way. We're also using a shallot. So if you've made any of my savory recipes, you may have noticed that I love using shallot and onion together. I just feel like it really adds a depth of flavor because they're similar, but the shallot's a little milder and a little sweeter. They complement each other so nicely. So I think it's worth the little bit of extra effort. So usually there's two little bulbs, and I like to gently just take a knife to make a little slit and peel that paper from the outside. And then I chop it really similarly to an onion, just depending on how I'm using it. But since we're gonna dice it, I'll just do the same. Now for carrots and celery. So just dice them up as you would any other soup recipe. Since the end of these carrots are they're pretty thin, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them into circles. So I think that's so pretty. For the thicker ends, I'm gonna stick with circles, but I'm gonna cut them in just a little bit thinner so that all in all, they cook at the same rate. Now for our herbs. They smell so good. There's a lot of fresh herbs in this recipe because why not? Makes it delicious. But we're starting with fresh oregano here. If you can't find or don't want to use fresh, of course you could use dried. I just suggest, or you should, use half the amount because dried are a lot more concentrated in the flavor. So we'll pull the leaves off. Now for some rosemary. Slide your fingers down and get those leaves off. And thyme. Great, they're nice and chopped. That smells so good. Let's get the garlic and then we'll be set. Oop. Now, of course, I'm gonna use my favorite garlic press. You could finely chop them since, you, like me, will have a cutting board and knife out, but this is just so easy. Did you know that if you chop garlic like 10 minutes before you cook it, it's actually way more beneficial nutrition-wise? Now, I'm not a nutritionist. I read it in a book. Lots of people say it. It's a fun fact though. Don't let it sit for too long though, because then it could become bitter. So let's get the soup started. First things first, we'll add some olive oil to our pot. Heat it up so it's nice and shimmery. Let's add our veggies in, along with a generous pinch of salt. It'll really help to soften them up and start layering in that flavor. Now we wait. The longer saute on these veggies really helps develop the flavor. And now we're gonna add that garlic and the herbs. And we're also gonna do a pinch of red pepper flakes. adds great flavor. And then similarly, a little bit of white pepper just adds a great, unique, like, depth to the soup. Kind of one of those, what is that flavor kind of things. So freshly ground black pepper for good measure. And then we're also going to add some bouillon for umaminess, and you guessed it, a depth of flavor. This might be a bean soup, but it is full of flavor. The last bit of flavor is Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. Get a vegetarian variety if you are not a seafood eater, because the traditional stuff is made with anchovies. So just check the package. It's really easy to find a variety that's made without anchovies. Give it a good stir. Let that garlic cook down for a minute. And now for the white beans. I have 2 cans of cannellini beans here. They've been drained and rinsed. And then we'll also stir in the broth. Add another pinch of salt. Keep in mind that bouillon, the Worcestershire sauce, and the stock all have salt in them as well. So this is one of those recipes where it'll be important to just make sure you're taste testing depending on the specific levels in the ingredients that you use. Bring it to a simmer. Let it all cook down. Those flavors will meld together. While the soup simmers, I'm going to chop the kale. It'll be our final touch to the soup. So I just kind of take a pile of it. There's no exact way you need to do this. It's been cleaned and pulled off the stem, so there's these big leaves. So I just grab a pile and then I slice through, just kind of make strips, different size pieces. So you can see the soup is thickened up, but it's still nice and brothy. The last thing to do is to wilt in the kale. That kale adds such a beautiful color. I would normally just keep it on low heat on the stove to wilt in, but the heat from the soup works also if you want to take it off, just like I have. Now, the key to bringing out the flavors in this soup, really, like, taste test it now, then add fresh lemon juice and taste test it after. Your mind is going to be blown away. It acts the same as salt and just really brings out those flavors. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Okay, I'm just going to try a little bit of broth. Perfection. No added salt needed. Okay. I'm gonna serve up a bowl and try it for real. That broth is so flavorful. Oh my goodness. This is one of the best veggie and bean soups you're ever going to have, and you can quote me on that. It's also fabulous with a crusty piece of bread, or today, I've got these super easy Parmesan and thyme biscuits, also a winner. I will see you back here next week for another meatless meal that everyone will love. Until then, happy eating. It's so good. Now for our carrots and onion. This is not an onion. It's also fabulous with a crusty piece of bread. That sounds so weird. I feel like I just brain farted.